welcome to the 20th episode of Kouryer podcast. Today I'm joined with Mr. Cihan Tamti. He's a graphic designer specializing in typography and editorial design from Germany. And well, with that out of the way, please give us a little introduction on how you got into visual arts and design.
Hi, first of all, nice to meet you. My story is kind of funny. I started early in the school when I was like 14 years old. I was a pretty bad graffiti sprayer and was always drawing letters with friends because the place where I live and located is West Germany, and it's very known for a lot of graffiti. And even when I was at primary school, we was just like trying to draw the letters on the walls, like to have the same style. And when we was in the 8th or 9th class, when we was 15, we was spraying all over the school. And it's a pretty big school, we was like 1,800 young kids on the school, and we was busted by our art teacher. And she told us, if you really want to do big letters, you have to poster design and learn typography and not only graffiti. And then we started to work with her on posters and draw letters, and then I decided to be a graphic designer.
All right. And were you originally studying art and design, or you were pursuing another career path?
Directly after school, had an education as a media designer, we call it here in Germany. So you have two options. You can work in an office for 3 years and for 2 days in a week, and then you have school. Or like me, it was only school and practical work inside the school. And that was my education. And so you were a graphic technologist assistant, they call it like this. And it was like 3.5 years. And after that, I was working 2 years in the studio. And then I started to study graphic design. Like we call it here communication design. And I'm still studying. I'm not finished.
All right. And what is your main branch of design that you're focusing on? And tell us about your experience from the start of it until now.
I mean, the main focus on graphic design is for me always typography. And back in the days, I was very inspired by Bauhaus and Swiss design. And in the 17th, really, and try to be always minimalistic and clean. And I wanted to find a way to be genius with working less as possible, because that was the way Germans and Swiss designers are always working. But it was early in the beginnings when graphic design started, and a lot of people today still try to be like them, but time is changing, and design as well, and the platforms and the media as well, and all these people forget the bridge from then to today. And I was early in the beginning then thinking about how can I fix everything and be in the future and not in the past, and then I was focusing on typography and being expressive with what I do, and even try to make headlines like an illustration with good typography and experimental typography. And everything is coming now with personal branding and standing out, and that's the perfect time to be loud and bold, and that's what we young people right now are. And I think that's the way I'm going right now, and that's the focus, to be expressive. That's the thing I try to figure out still. I hope that answers the question.
I mean, that was pretty good. How does your design process usually go anytime you want to start working on a design project, usually?
So depends on if there's a client or not. So I'm doing a lot of free projects as well. That's my strategy usually to get clients. So I do what I want and get the client I want, And the process begins like what is going on right now, and how can I help my environment, So you start to try to find a voice, a concept which helps people, For example, the Homebound magazine is very famous. What I did, I did an open call on the Instagram story and invited people, and suddenly we was a big group, and my position turned out as creative direction, and I have to divide the people in groups and let them work together. And then it was a really nice magazine, which was very limited, but everybody wants it right now, and we have no time to print it. And so that's the free project part. But if it comes to a client, it gets really serious. First you have to ask what they need. You need the proper briefing. You have to identify really what are they doing and what's their voice and what do they need. So what's the problem I have to solve? And then you have to be like a chameleon, and put yourself away and try to be the client and show what they need and design what they need and be functional really for them. So it's always then really trying to understand what the client wants and at the other part what they really need, because that usually don't fit together. And then you really start with the sketching and researching, and don't show the client anything really, and till the presentation is coming really with the first good sketches, maybe one or two options to show him. I usually show them only one option, like that's the thing I think you need, and then they start to talking about, now we want this color and should be more curvy or something, and then you make it better and better for them, and then it's finished. So it's a very simple and not special way I'm working.
All right, and what do you think about the statement? You need to be good at drawing to be a good designer and illustrator.
Now, I think you should be a good thinker to be a designer. You have to be able to create, and but also be structured and focused on stuff what can help and solve problems. So drawing is really just a tool to design. But if you're a designer, you can be a creative director or something and just hire somebody who's an illustrator, So the statement you have to be able to draw is totally wrong, because you can work with Illustrator as well and just use it on a computer and draw stuff you could never draw on a paper. So that time is over, I think. But it's good for sketches to show someone on the table right in a second. If you have a talk with a client, you can draw it on the paper and say, hey, that's what you need. Maybe, do you like it? It could be like this. And it's quickly, but you don't need it really anymore. So no.
All right, and actually, I wanted to do a deep dive on your Instagram right now. I see, of course, I mean, as we said earlier, your main branch of focus is kind of like typography and editorial works, and I see a collection here, of there's a college of 9 different you have your top 9 posts of 2020, and it involves a lot of native space works as well, most of them in a sense. How did that came by?
I don't know why people like my German work more than the English word, but I don't know really. I can't tell anything about it, but I think it's more a visual thing. All these works people like the most was like extremely experimental and bold, and some people would say I wouldn't do that. So it's like you have always enemies, but fans and friends as well, but not the middle. And I think that's the conflict which works really good for my work. It's like you ask people like what is better, like PlayStation or Xbox, and they will fight each other and take sides. And I think that happened with the work as well. Like there was a lot of people who were liking it and some people hating it really. And I think that's how it happened with the top 9.
All right. And who are your favorite artists and designers that have inspired you the most?
It's always changing weekly. um, but it's mostly the German designers, like the old ones. My superhero is Lars Hamsen. He's the founder of Slant Publisher and a big mentor as well. Then the reason why I'm very experimental is a Swiss designer called Wolfgang Weingart. Maybe you know him. It's one of the first graphic designers. And number 3 would be Nico Borscher. He's from Munich, and he's very bold and experimental in typography as well, and much better than me. And it's a big inspiration for me always to see what the studio is doing. And number 4, I don't have any more really. It's always changing, so I'm very very sorry. I mean, you can say Jessica Walsh maybe, and number 5 I would say Stefan Sackmeister. So we have 5 now. Yeah, but my top 3 is like really proper and real, and they're really inspiring my work a lot.
All right. And what is the main subject of your artworks and what made them interesting to you?
My own artworks or of the people I'm inspired?
You mean artistically or in general?
In general.
Oh.
So if you ask me right now about my work, I would say the inspiring topics are always things happening around me and my mood. So I don't really try to communicate what people need or anything like that, like any hype topics. So I just talk about what I see and try to raise my own voice, and that's a very simple inspiration you can get, and the hardest to put in words. So I would say that's the main energy where my work comes from.
All right. And how to simplify the start of the learning process when it comes to visual arts and basically your area of expertise?
If I would be a teacher, the first thing I would try to do my students would be fake your idols, like fake it till you make it, really trying to do the same and to understand why they place their work, like why do you use that composition, how does it feel when you place it in a graphic, and yes, why this font, why not another one, I think that's the best learning process for graphic design. If you try to be your hero, and at the end you will find your own style and your own attitude as a designer, and that's the most important part. So that would be the first step I would try to teach someone, like, okay, that's your hero, let's see what he's doing and then work on him. I think you're much more motivated than just learning principles and old stuff in the books. Everything is changing by week in the design industry, and surely you have to know the basics, but you have to find your own voice as well, and to find good quality design, and that's hard to find right now because nearly all designers look the same, and it's getting in a fast food position, and there's the old good quality of originality is hard to find and to define something new as well. So I think it's the best way to learn to fake it and to make it. Yeah.
All right. And any advice and tips for a good portfolio and resume for artists?
Sure, don't use text. I would say make your portfolio only visual, and don't forget to put your face on it. I think it's always important to have a small intro about yourself to make it more personal. I would say for a good portfolio, you need your own branding. That's how I did. I made my own logo and my own type for headlines, and then use only visuals really for the project, and everything was clear. And I think that's the best way, and you get faster in the talk with any director because they want to talk about your projects. But if you write everything down, nobody cares. And I think that's the best way to be bold, big, and have a high quality portfolio. But only show really your work you really like and your strengths really, and send it to positions where they need you. And I think you should have your top 5 projects in the portfolio, and that's enough, not more. That's my advice.
Yeah, actually, I've been asking this question from a lot of artists, and literally every one of them, in the end of the answer of this question, said just put 5 or 6. That's enough. And that's kind of surprising for a lot of people because they think they need to put all their work in, all their good work. But no, you shouldn't put all your good work in. Just put 5 or 6 of your best niche work in that area if you want to work in, just in your portfolio. That's it.
Totally,
it's not that complicated.
Because the person who get your portfolio knows then what you really like and what you really want to do. And if you just put all your stuff you did in it, I mean, how many pages do you want to have in your PDF file? It's too massive and surely too bad. And nobody has the time to see your work. It have to be inspiring in 10 seconds maybe, where they just skip the pages and then they start reading it if they like the visuals, And a lot of people don't know that. They just look at your face and then at your visuals, and then if it looks interesting, they start to read what you did and why you did it. And so it's perfect to have the top 5. Absolutely.
Yeah, and what are you working on right now that you can tell us about? Like, what kind of project is it? Of course, if it's something that there's like an NDA involved, we can't talk about it. It's fine. We can skip the question. But, I was just wondering if, like, what kind of project you're currently working on?
Currently, my own projects, like my poster books right now finished and it's going to print. I'm making right now the second homebound issue with open calls sadly closed. And I'm working on this one too. And client-based, I'm working right now a lot on the fashion industry because I can't tell you the brands, but they have every one of them had just the basic logo and everything's super minimalistic, like extreme reduced. And now they try to be more expressive and louder and have a proper impact with their design, and that's why they come to me right now, because the work I do is always personal, and the brands try to open the doors like we are this and we are that, and that's a project. It always started with custom typography and then goes really into campaign to art direction, and that's what I'm working right now, and that's how I built my studio. Now I'm working alone, but it's always fun to work with big brands. You would never expect you get them, and have to solve this big problem as a small person. And I'm pretty proud of this, and that's what I'm working on right now. And I hope I can share it soon when everything is printed and finished. Then I can show it, but not now. Sorry.
It's fine. It's fine. We're all looking forward to it. That's gonna be interesting, actually. And what area beside the area you're working on right now are you interested to explore and learn in the future? What I mean by that is, imagine if you had, like, right now you got a suitcase filled like with thousands of euros, right? And that kind of makes you worry less about the bills and stuff, and you have of course, naturally more free time. In that free time, what kind of craft or skill would you pursue?
I'm currently working a lot of still on typography, surely, but I'm totally interested right now in animation and 3D because I want to make a step further into technology and want to jump into AR and virtual reality. And that's what I'm working right now. I'm working for the future tools and try really to level up. I think everything starts to move and everything is getting CGI, and with artificial intelligence, you have to be prepared for the future. And that's what I'm working right now on.
All right, and with all that being said and done, to conclude everything we discussed in this episode, would you give us a roadmap for someone who is zero in visual arts and design and wants to get to the place you are in terms of skill set? Like, give us a whole roadmap, like every step, like where to start, best tools, softwares, preferred books, courses, anything that comes to your mind, you know? Like, now's the time.
Oh, okay. I think the first step is to find a hero, really someone you love. It's like everything you start in life. I mean, I remember me being a small kid and playing soccer, and had a jersey from Roberto Carlos, and I was running like him, shooting like him. I had the same shoes, and I think you have to find, if you want to start design someone like this, where you really would put your jersey on of this person and would love to design like him. Then you really start to design early with drawings, and maybe apply for a design school. I don't know if you really need it today. I've learned the basics and start early working with internships instead of just going to school. I mean, you have to get practical experience, and that's more important than everything. And after finishing school, I would say you have to study as well to be more focused and specialized in stuff you really love to do. And then you have to become better than your hero. That's the hardest part. And that's the roadmap. So it's not clear. It's not, it's like a jungle. You have to decide which ways you are going. But I think you have to do what you love and what makes you happy. And if you're at zero, you have to look around what is really the thing you want to do, and never forget the reason why you started. Yeah.
All right, I think that's about it. Thank you so much for coming by. And where can people contact you if they wanted to ask any questions or in general see your works?
Sure, you can contact me on Instagram or by mail, or you can call me as well. It's no problem. My phone number's on the website, so don't hesitate. And email is always difficult because it's always full, but Instagram is very easy to contact me pretty fast, and nearly 24 hours online to respond really everyone. And I'm really caring about my followers. So contact me there.
Yeah, by the way, if anyone wants to contact in any case, just, I mean, it's like the formal basic, way to do it. It just takes beforehand, I guess, to set up a call. I mean, that's kind of obvious, but just in case.
It's
Yeah.
not a problem. I'm cool with that. I'm always getting weird calls, and hey, let's work together. I'm a DJ. I need a cover for €10. Can you do it for free? And always asking for the price and don't tell you anything what they need.
And let me guess, they're gonna pay in exposure, right?
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, currently with the lockdown, it's kind of fun to talk to people like that. And I'm very amused, so that's okay. So I'm never lonely.
Yes, it's a good activity to spend time.
Yeah.
And yeah, well, thanks a lot for joining us. Have a good day, everyone. Take care. See you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye. Thank